So from 1997 to 2003, I was a prevention educator for a rape crisis and domestic violence service. This was in Southern Illinois. And my job essentially was to go to 9 counties worth of junior highs, high schools, colleges, and give presentations to students, faculty, staff, administration on sexual assault, sexual harassment, dating violence. And when I first got the job, the position was relatively new. So what I did was I sent out kind of cold call letters. And I sent a letter and I said, my name is Terry Lilley. I work at the Women's Center and I'd like to come and talk to your students about sexual assault. And I didn't get a lot of response from those letters. So I sent another letter again, my name is Terry Lilley. I work at the Women's Center. And still not a lot of response. So one day I said, this letter business isn't really working out for me, so I'm just going to drop by the schools. So I would go into the schools, I would go to the principal's office or whatever, and I would say, I'm here to see the principal. My name is Terry Lilley. I work at the Women's Center. So the principal would come out and I would say, hi, my name is Terry Lilley. I work at the Women's Center. And there would be this moment of recognition, like they've heard this before, but they didn't quite put two and two together. So they would say, who are you again? What's your name again? And I said, my name is Terry Lilley. I work at the, and they would say, oh, you're Terry Lilley. So they didn't expect me. I think when they heard the name and they heard the name of the organization that I worked for, they expected a woman. So I think that intrigued them a bit, that here was a man talking about sexual assault. Here was a man talking about sexual harassment and what's traditionally been seen as women's issues. And so the first couple years, I got invited in, and about 2 or 3 years into the job, I was turning things down because I just didn't have the time. We ended up hiring a part-time educator, and it struck me that, wow, I must be really, really good at this job because I kept getting invited back. And part of that was true. I was good at my job. I worked really hard at it. But another part is that I was getting doors open to me because I was a man, that women that I worked with who were better speakers than I could ever hope to be, better educators than I could hope to be, they didn't have those doors open. And that's a concept that we call the glass escalator. It's similar to the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is this idea where women enter occupations and they can kind of see, this kind of career ladder, and they move up, but then all of a sudden they hit this invisible barrier. And so the glass ceiling is about what stops women's progress through organizations. The glass escalator is an idea that where men, specifically in female-dominated professions, men kind of get on and then they just quickly rise to the top with very little effort. And the reason is because when I go in and I talk to people about sexual assault, no one thinks that I have an agenda. No one looks at me as someone who has an axe to grind. I'm given instant credibility when I walk into a room. And I think that's reflective of the way that men are seen as authority figures in society. So it's unfortunate that men are listened to more than women. But that's part of what we call privilege. And the idea is, for me, if I have privilege, that means I have a responsibility. And by responsibility, that means I have an ability to respond. I have an ability to do something about it. So I tend to use the privilege to try and dismantle it.